Wisdom Podcast. Tonight's podcast is 7 ways why the mind and mindset operates from the past. The mind never lives in the now. It lives in a museum of yesterday, polishing old memories and calling them the truth. Mindset isn't who you are, it's who you were, stitched together from emotional snapshots, survival reflexes, outdated meanings, social soul tattoos, uh, emotional allegiances that no longer match your frequency. The mind operates from the past because that's the only place it has data. The now is too alive, too unpredictable, too sovereign for a system built on storage and repetition. So every time you think, interpret, or try to understand, the mind drags you back into the familiar, the scripts, the territory, replaying old scripts to keep you small, safe, and predictable. But the moment you step into presence, the fierce, fresh now, the entire mental machinery loses its grip because the now never needs the mindset. The now requires awareness. And awareness is the one thing the past can never touch. Why mindset and mind operates from the past, and listening harkens the now to rise, shine, energize, expand you through life with ease. When mind and mindset operates from the past, the mind operates from the past and it operates on familiar scripts, the landscape of where you've already been. It can only use stored memory, never the living now. The mind is an activist, archivist, never a witness. It doesn't experience reality, it interprets it using yesterday's emotional snapshots. So every mindset it generates is stitched from the old meanings, old fears, old victory, and old wounds. The mind can never operate in the now because the now is too alive, too fluid, too graspable for its storage-based system. Mindset is the past coded because its identity itself is built from memory, never presence. Mindset is the mind protecting the version of you it already understands and knows. It doesn't care if that version is outdated, it cares that it's familiar. The mind and mindset operates from the familiar. So mindset loops old beliefs, old interpretation, old survival strategies, because that's what stabilizes the identity you've already outgrown. Mindset equals museum, presence open equals frontier. The mind defaults to the past because the now threatens its control. The now is unpredictable, silent, and sovereign. The mind can't dominate it. So when you shift rise to the presence, the mind panics and drags you backwards into the territory it can manage. Drama, trauma, replays, panic, anxiety, stress, all that drags you back into the past. It can manage, it throws old stories, old roles, old victimitis, crapitis scripts because the past it's its comfort zone. The now is your liberation zone. Why mindset and mind operates from the past and listening harkens the now to rise, shine, and energize you to expand you through life with ease. Mindset and mind operate from the past because they're built from memory, never from living pulse of now. They recycle old meanings, old emotions, old survival reflexes, and project them into the present, as if they're still authentic. The mind can only replay what it has stored, so it drags you backwards into the familiar territory when your life is calling you forward. As listening is different. Listening is the now. Listening is the moment you drop out of the mind's museum and into the living field where clarity rises, energy ignites, and expansion becomes effortless. Listening hearkens the now to rise through you, to shine, to energize, and to expand your presence through life with ease. When you listen, you stop operating from memory and start operating from inner mastery to interject your life to the presence. Presence becomes your power, and prowess now becomes your navigation. And life stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like a flow. Why mind and mindset? The world is unknown. The world is unknowingly imprisoned in ancestor survival mode programming. Because a lot of our programming is still connected to the ancestors, parents, and all that. The mind is imprisoned because it's inherited fear-based wiring designed for danger, never for modern life. Ancestral survival mode was built for predators, scarcity, and threat. The nervous system still runs that ancient software, scanning the danger even when there isn't any. So the mind defaults to fear, vigilance, and self-protection, never clarity, innovation, or sovereignty. The world isn't broken. It's running an outdated code. Mindset is trapped because identity was shaped by generations generations who survived by shrinking, obeying, and conforming. Your ancestors never have the luxury of expansion. They had to fit in, stay small, and avoid risk, and follow the tribe to stay alive. These patterns got passed down. Do you see that in your life? I see it in my life as normal, even though they're no longer relevant. As the mindset becomes a hand-me-down survival costume, never a true expression of who you are. The world is unknowingly wearing ancestral fear as identity. The world stays in prison because survival mode blocks presence, and, and presence is the only place liberation thrives in the lot is in alive. Survival mode keeps attention to the past. What hurt me? The future. What might hurt me? It never lets you land in the now. The only place where clarity, intuition, and expansion actually exist. A world stuck in survival mode never listens, can never feel, never awakens. It reacts instead of rises. It repeats instead of evolves. Why mind and mindset drag you into the past scripts and repetitions of your life. The mind drags you into the past scripts because it only knows how to run what's already rehearsed. The mind is a repetition engine, never a revelation engine. You never create the now. It only recycles from memory. So the moment you think, interpret, and try to understand, the mind pulls up the last known script and hits replay. It's never personal, it's mechanical. Your mindset is literally built from yesterday's patterns, so it can only project yesterday onto today. Mindset loops old scripts because identity is glued to what felt familiar, even if it was limiting, painful, or whatever. Mindset is the mind projecting the version of you it already knows. It never cares if that version is outdated. It cares that it's predictable. So it keeps you in the same emotional choreography, same reactions, same fears, same beliefs, same outcomes. Repetition is the mind's way of keeping you inside the boundaries of who you used to be. The mind repeats the past because the now threatens its control and exposes its irrelevance. The now is too alive, too fluid, too sovereign for the mind to dominate, so it stops participating. Presence dissolves the mind's authority, so the mind drags you backwards into old scripts. That's drama, trauma, them are old scripts, because the past is the only place it can stay in charge. Repetition is its survival strategy. Awareness is your liberation strategy. Why mind and mindset is afraid of the now. The mind fears the now because the now exposes its irrelevance. The mind only survives by narrating, interpreting, and comparing and replaying the past. As the now is silent, direct, and unfiltered, it doesn't need commentary. In the now, the mind has nothing to do and nowhere to hide, so it panics and drags you back into the thought, memory, and noise to stay in control. Where do you see that happen in your life? I see that happen in my life. Mindset fears the now because the now dissolves identity, and identity is built from the past. Mindset is a costume stitched from old beliefs, old emotions, old survival strategies. The now doesn't recognize any of that. Presence burns through the outdated identity. The mind is trying to protect, so mindset clings to the past because the now would expose its recycled illusions. How does most of your life run through recycled illusions from your mind and the mindset and your comfort zone programming? Mine was, still is, but I'm now I understand when it's occurring, and I can question it and rise out of it. The mind avoids the now because now is unpredictable, and unpredictability threatens its survival programming. The mind is wired for certainty, familiarity, and repetition, all past based. The now is wild, fresh, and ungraspable. It can never be controlled, predicted, or rehearsed. So the mind treats the now like danger, even though the now is the only place freedom, sovereignty lives. Why is indoctrinated education unknowingly stuck in the past? Indoctrinated education is stuck in the past because it was designed to produce obedience, never awareness. That system wasn't built to awaken sovereign innovators. It was built to create compliant workers from an old industrial world. So it teaches memorization, repetition, and conformity instead of presence, intuition, and inner authenticity. It's never evolving because it's our original blueprint of conquer, control, and never about liberation. Education recycles the past because it worships standardized knowledge instead of lived intelligence. Schools teach what has been, never what is or what's now. The passed down outdated facts, outdated worldviews, outdated emotional conditioning, all wrapped in the illusions of learning. It's a museum of inherited information, never a living field of awareness. Students are never taught to listen to the now. They're taught to repeat the past. Students are never taught to listen to the now. They're taught to repeat the past. The system stays stuck because it fears the now. The now creates free-flowing wisdom, insight, and clarity, and free wizards can't be controlled. Presence activates creativity, intuition, and sovereignty. Institutions can never manage that, so they anchor students in old scripts, old models, old hierarchies, and call it education. Where do you see that today? I see it when I went to school, and it's still happening today. The past is predictable. The now is powerful prowess to wow. And powerful prowess threatens the system. Why history is never taught to teach you history, it's taught to control you. History is taught as a narrative, never never a truth. And whoever controls the narrative controls the mind. Educate the world to control it. What you're given in school is never history. It's curated storyline designed to shape how you see authority, identity, and possibility. Facts get filtered, voices get erased, events get sanitized. The goal is never understanding, it's obedience. A controlled past creates a predictable population. History is taught to anchor you in inherited roles so you never question the system you were born into. You're fed stories that reinforce natural myths, cultural hierarchies, and social expectations. You're taught who the heroes are and who the villains are and what your place should be. It's never education, it's indoctrination. If you accept the past as the present, you unconsciously accept the limits they set for your future. History is taught to keep you looking backward so you never awaken to your power of the now. A population focused on the past is easier to manage than a population awake in the present moment. When you're busy memorizing dates, you're never questioning systems. When you're repeating the version of events, you're not writing your own. The past becomes a cage, the now becomes invisible. And that invisibility is a real control. Why indoctrinated education and business education teaches a controlled past. They teach a controlled past because predictable minds are easier to manage than sovereign ones. Indoctrinated education hands you pre-approved narratives, pre-approved models, pre-approved truths. Business education does the same, teaches frameworks built for old economies, old hierarchies, and old structures. Both systems rely on the past because the past is controllable. The now is not. They recycle the past because the system depends on producing workers, never awakeners. Education trains you to memorize. Business school trains you to replicate. Neither trains you to question the blueprint itself. They teach you what has been so you unconsciously recreate it. Keeping the machine running without ever realizing you're inside it. A controlled past becomes a self-fulfilling future. They anchor you in the past because the now activates sovereignty and sovereignty breaks the system. The now awakens creativity, intuition, inner authenticity, imagination, and the quality institutions can't regulate your free-flowing energy within you. So they keep you focused on an old case studies, old theories, old best practices, and old success models. The past keeps you predictable. The now makes you powerful. And power is the one thing indoctrinated systems can never afford you to embody. Why you can never think and know and listen at the same time. Because thinking mind draws you into the past. Know is the mind's control, and listen is the now. Thinking drags you backwards because the mind can only operate on memory. Every thought is stitched from yesterday's archives in the museum of our ancestors. When you're thinking, you're never in the now. You're replaying past scripts. Thinking is the mind's way of pulling you into repetition, never revelations. That's why thought cancels presence. Knowing is the mind's control because it claims certainty to keep you inside its cage. What the mind calls knowing is just a past coded conclusion dressed up as truth. It's the mind saying, I've got this figured out. Stay inside my boundaries. But that knowing is control, never clarity. It locks you into the museum of identity instead of the frontier of awareness. Listening is the now, and the now can never coexist with thought or control. Listening is a raw reception, never filter, never archive, no agenda. It's a fierce, fresh now speaking directly through you. The moment you think listening collapse, the moment you know listening is hijacked. Only listening keeps you open, alive, and energized, expanding through life with ease. Why third world enslaving mindsets and warmongering programming control the worldly landscape, locks the world in ancestor survival communication. The world enslaving mindsets dominate the world because global systems were built on fear, scarcity, and domination, never awareness. Most of the world's structures were shaped during eras of conquest, extraction, and survival. These frequencies never got updated, so the world still runs on psychology of threat, enemy, and protect, obey, and endure. The survival coded mindset becomes the invisible operating system, shaping nations, institutions, and everyday communication. The landscape looks modern, the consciousness is ancient. Warmongering programming keeps humanity locked in conflict based thinking, which blocks presence and fuels ancestor communication. Loops warmongering thinking isn't just about weapons, it's a mindset of constant opposition. It trains people to speak and attack, defend patterns, to see differences as danger and a threat, treat life as a battlefield. This is the same communication style ancestors used to survive tribal threats. Now it's recycled in politics because revelations in media, a world speaking in war language, can never hear the now, only the next threat. Do you see that in the world today? I do. I see it on the world deals, on the worldly landscape. Look at what's going on around the world. These mindsets lock the world into ancestral survival communication because the survival mode never accesses clarity, creativity, or sovereignty. Survival mode keeps attention trapped in the past. What hurt me, and the future, what might hurt me. It never allows humanity to land in the now. The only place where evolution, intuition, and expansion actually exist. When the world communicates from survival, it reacts instead of listens, repeats instead of rises, and obeys instead of awakens. This is how the world global landscape stays controlled. Keep people in survival and they'll never discover their sovereignty. Why communication, connection, collaboration, and contours destroys the mind and mindsets controlling programming. Opens my energetic liberation, energized listening, maverick questions, politically incorrect inspiration, cowboy wisdom, outlaw optimism, liberating lingo expressing revolutionary revelation. Rise you out of yesterday to enjoy my day, to enjoy fresh experiences of health, wealth, fun, and the sun's splendor. Communication, connection, collaboration destroy the mind because they pull you out of isolation into the presence. The mind controls you by keeping you trapped in your own recycled thoughts. A private echo chamber of yesterday. As real communication and connection break the loop, they force you into the now, into listening, into an inner exchange, into awesome aliveness. Mind can never dominate when you're engaged with life. Presence dissolves the prison, Connection cracks the cage and opens the door for you to soar. Maverick collaboration contours activate your energetic liberation because they bypass the mind and ignite your deeper intelligence. As you collaborate with life, with people, your creativity and with intuition, you stop relying on the mind's old scripts. You start asking maverick questions. You start hearkening politically incorrect inspiration. As you start expressing liberating lingo, you start riding cowboy wisdom and outlaw optimism like a wild horse across the prairie, through your inner desert into your mountain villas of visionary epiphanies. The mind can never keep up with that kind of freedom. The mind collapses under voltage of vision, visionary voltage. Revolutionary communication rises you out of yesterday because it awakens the now. And the now is where health, wealth, joy, and sun splendor actually live. Yesterday is a memory, tomorrow is a projection. As communication that's alive, connected, and collaborative, and contour breaking the pulls you into your fierce fresh now, naturally optimizing wisdom, wealth, and fun. The now is where your body liberates, your wealth flows, and your joy expands. Your fun of the sun's splendor lights up. The mind can only replay. Listening lets you rise. Presence lets you enjoy. Liberation lets you live a fresh way of life. And that's what I really opened up to is we like moving backwards instead of forward. As ever you're listening to something, and if you're thinking about what it is, about what you want the world to do, they'll never do it. But you let free-flowing inspiration flow through you and you express that inspiration, you rise to the here and now. I want to thank you. I'm Robert Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom, Hypno Acuity. May your weekend be fun of the sun splendor for you. And good night.